Buzz, what's a game like this do for your blood pressure?
It's not healthy, I would say that. I thought everything was hard. I thought everything was hard on both ends, and I think that that's the job that Coach does. What an incredible job he's done in the first semester and taking over that program. The way they utilize 12, it just puts so much stress on you. And they've changed so much in the 2 weeks since we haven't played them. How they utilize their personnel, some of the actions they're running, they play a lot faster. They're scoring 16 more points a game. I think they were 58 when we played them last time, and they were 74 coming into tonight's game. So the changes they've made, obviously they've won every game, and so yeah, it's for sure hard, all of it on both sides.
In the same vein, how much of an emotional swing was there? You have Boots going down, throwing down the dunk, seemingly game's over, but it's not because what was the?
Yeah, it was immature on my part, Travis. We had that personnel grouping in to get a stop on the other end. Henry would have typically been in. Obviously, we get the basket. You could say we excelled. Didn't they get 3 shots at it?
Mm-hmm.
And I should have called timeout right then. I put Andy in a bad spot. 4 wasn't in the game. We need 4 in a full court situation. I knew that I had 2 timeouts. Should have called a timeout. Not saying that it would have been successful, but that was an unneeded turnover caused by poor coaching.
Coach, I know you don't draw it up by design, but being able to win a game in the 50s, what do you think that says about your team and kind of any positives you can take away from that aspect?
Yeah, to not sound like a coach too much, I don't. We just want to win, and we're thankful for the support of the community, specifically the students. I thought the environment was off the chart. I always go out an hour before the game just to. I guess it's the only recess I feel like I have on game day for 18 minutes to just sit there and be thankful for the opportunity. But when I went out with an hour, I mean, both end zones were already full. And it changes the environment at Reed when we have that level of support. I thought we were as good as we could possibly be in the first half defensively. The thing that hurt us, we fouled too much, and they beat us on the glass. I think they had 7 offensive rebounds, but to hold them to 2 baskets was really good. And they're hard to score against. Their defense in the half court, they're 8th in the country. And so we are dependent as the number 1 team in the country on free throw makes and free throw attempts. Our points per possession are somewhat dependent on free throws, and that's the least number of fouls that we've had all season long. And so that kind of skewed the numbers, but they also did a great job protecting the rim.
Yeah, would you speak to Wade, who was having a kind of a tough night shooting the ball, but then there in the last minute, 4, I think it was, really big free throws for you?
Yeah, good, bad, don't shoot. Oh, glad it went in. There's a lot of feelings when you play with someone that's as gifted as 4. But from the very beginning, before I ever coached him, I had great faith in who he is. Do I think he's a perfect player? No. Do I think he's very intelligent? He's a 4.0 student that has as high of an EQ as anybody that I've been around. And I think that when the game is on the line and when the game's not on the line, our team is better when 4 is on the floor.
And we've said a lot about the kind of pressure that Dexter can put on the glass. 16 rebounds is get you into bottoms of record books. They get
it's otherworldly what he's doing. Like, I try to make sure that the words that I say are humble in nature, with zero arrogance. But I think the last time that we were here, I think Dexter had 11 defensive rebounds, and 7 of those defensive rebounds came off missed threes. Like, the effort that he is playing with on things that are not statted, I don't know that I've seen in my 500 plus games as a head coach. Like he's doing things that are not in the box score that are trending towards things in the box score. That offensive rebound scrum that led to 4 being fouled that Olin's talking about. Yes, I understand 4 made the free throws and Olin should ask that. What should be asked is, did you see Dexter Dennis get a fingertip on the ball that led to that? Like it's just, and our players know it too. Like he commands a level of respect because of the consistency that he works with, but he's the best listener I've ever coached. And I've told you that before. But the consistency and who he is as a person, he's literally the same upbeat, greet you with a smile, shake your hand like a man, absorb the scouting report. Everything is brand new. Every game is new. What we're doing is new. But his learning curve is as fast as anybody I've seen. He's changed our team. I mean, he had 33% of our rebounds as a perimeter player. Like in a game that he said we scored in the 50s. I know, and he still had over 33% of our rebounds. Like that's unheard of.
When you were recruiting him, did you pick up on that he's quite a character as well?
It was a strange recruiting, Brent. Graduated on time from Wichita State. And this is, I'm not saying I'm right on this, but in this new model, I think you need to get the kids here as fast as you can because you have to work more in the summer now than you ever have before because you're going to have half of a team. And so you can't wait until the fall to start teaching them how they play. So we thought that it was done, that he was coming. He'd be here in summer session 1, move in the weekend before Memorial Day, hadn't taken a visit. He was going to take his visit by moving in. So it was going to be like half of a trip. And then we get to the first week of May, and he says, Coach, I've got to do a 400-hour internship. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, they're saying I can't graduate without 400 hours of work. And I'm like, well, 400 hours is going to take you the summer. So at that point, I was a little unsure. And I also think Dex was a little unsure because I had brought such attention to, hey, man, you're 2-time player of the year defensively. We know you, you know us. We've known him since he was in high school. Obviously, Devin's from there. He knows boots. He knows solo. And then it wasn't a stalemate, but there was a pause. And so he didn't move here until the week before school started in the fall. And so I didn't know him. And as you know, in the first 30 days of each year, there's not a lot of ball being taught at Texas A&M. It's more our habits. It's more how hard we want to work, how hard we want to play. There's not any coaching per se. And so he was behind the curve, but man, he has absorbed every single thing that we've done. I'm just so grateful that he's here.
And what were you saying to your guys in that timeout before that last inbound play?
Well, we call them specials, plays that you have to score. As I mentioned before, immature coaching decisions. Should have called a timeout after they scored. All you have to do is get the ball in bounds. We failed. That was my fault. And then I guess the officials said they needed to review something. So it wasn't a timeout, but it was a timeout. And so I was talking through with the staff, with the team, their specials, sideline out of bounds, 2.2 or 2.5?
It was 2.5.
2.5 to score. And as they walk back, we're about to play. I knew that we had 2 timeouts still, and a little bit of it was the residue of not calling the timeout on press offense. So called the timeout again, saying, here was their alignment. This is what they're about to do. If they're in this alignment that they just showed, I think this is going to be it. And I think it kind of calmed us down because there was still a little bit of residue that the game should have been over if we get the ball in. So I thought the execution, Jew on the ball, Dre, Dex, Solo, Andy, I thought how they handled it before the ball came in was perfect, spot on. And I thought once the ball came in, I thought how Dex played that was perfect.
Coach Golden said that he sees y'all as from New Year's on as a team that's playing top 10, top 15 in the country. With how you see the team practicing, with how you see them playing, is there the potential for that in this team?
I don't know. I think I was immature, as I've mentioned to you before, in how I handled non-conference. I was immature, probably giving too much credit to what I thought our team was in regards to their maturity. And so what I've tried to do is make sure that the consistency of my effort, the consistency of my preparation, the consistency of my words, the consistency in how we prepare, the consistency in how we practice. I don't know what the ceiling is. I'm thankful for the first 2.5 weeks. And to some degree, Travis, I think there's been lessons that have been learned from each of those. And I think we've tried to prioritize those lessons. And I think our guys are understanding those lessons. I think they're executing those lessons. But as I've mentioned to you before, I don't want to not give credit for the effort and the togetherness that they are playing with. That was where we were inconsistent in the first semester. And then the second thing is I think the preparation of our staff in regards to what is the plan to win this game and what changes do we need to make to our core. How are we going to teach that to our players in preparation in the film room? And then how are we going to practice that? Our guys have received that information. Our coaches have boiled it down to the lowest common denominator. And tonight, we call it a tell, like a poker tell. We're constantly trying to give our guys tells. And there was a tell that took place at the coming out of the third media timeout in the first half. And our guys know it was a tell, and they saved it. And they go, we saved it, talking about the possession. And so I think the cohesiveness and the chemistry of what the staff and the players are doing in preparation is huge. But I think the effort and the execution and the togetherness they're playing with should always be 1A.
Any questions?
Julius said there was a rough patch after Myrtle Beach, and you met with the guys individually, and he said you told him something he needed to hear. What was the gist of what you told him?
We got beat as bad as we've been beat since we've lived here by Colorado. Colorado was playing without one of their better players. They were just tougher than us and just punked us from start to finish. We had no effort. We had no fight, no togetherness. That was on Friday, which was less than 24 hours when Murray State had stung us. They hit us in the mouth, and we were wondering why they were being so mean. Friday night, when we got back to the hotel, it was a long drive. It's like 45 minutes. Like, you stay in Myrtle Beach, but you don't play in Myrtle Beach, which I didn't know until we got there. From Friday night until Sunday afternoon, there was a lot of work within the staff. We had a practice on Saturday at a high school. We had 2 film sessions, one for offense, one for defense. We had shoot around Sunday morning in the hotel. And then I stayed up Friday night, and started individual meetings at 6 a.m. Saturday morning. And I met with every single player on the team, 27 minutes each. And as soon as I got through with the last player, we had our first film session. Then we went to practice and then came back, took a shower. Then we had our second film session. I just told them the truth. And the truth was I had done a really bad job of holding them accountable. I had done a poor job of putting them in a position to be successful, and that we weren't representing what I believe our institution and our program should be about, and that I was personally and professionally embarrassed, and it had to change. And in some ways it did. But there were still inconsistencies. I think we won 3 after that: Loyola, DePaul, SMU, and then it came back again against Boise. So I think that it was probably the beginning of something, but I think we're just now, after losing to Wofford the way that we did, there was a lot of Wofford and Colorado similarities. And I think we've made some further changes within the process of what we do, and I think that that's helped us.
We all good? Okay.